Braxton Hicks contractions. Now, what's interesting, so, during your third trimester, your body's getting prepared for birth. And one of the things it needs to do is exercise your uterus because your uterus has two big jobs during childbirth. One is to there are certain muscles in your uterus that circle around your uterus that are important because they tense up during each contraction. And the job of the tension during those contractions is to dilate your cervix and open up your birth canal so your baby can pass through. The second thing your uterus has to do during childbirth is expel your baby. So it's actually your uterus. You could be unconscious, and your uterus, you will have these powerful contractions, and instead of these are muscles not going around your uterus but go from vaginal area to the area of your uterus up by your lungs. Those muscles, when they contract, will shorten your uterus and help expel the baby. And as you can imagine, if you're in a squatting position with the pressure of your ribs and your upper body pushing down on the top of your uterus, the part of it that's closest to your lungs, that actually helps your uterus expel your baby. At the same time, it opens up your pelvis 15% more than any other position and makes it much easier for your baby to find its way out through the birth canal and underneath your pubic bone. So Braxton Hicks contractions are contractions that are actually strengthening and preparing your uterine muscles for birth. So it's kind of like, it's like going for a daily jog in preparation for running a race on the weekend. Braxton Hicks contractions you may or may not feel. Oftentimes, if you are relaxing, the way you'll notice your first Braxton Hicks contractions is you poke your stomach, you'll notice that your stomach's hard. And so where normally you could poke and your skin will give way a little bit and there's a little bit, there's a little bit of softness. When you're having a contraction, all of a sudden that area, it'll get really hard. And what's really funny is at the start, these won't be across your entire stomach. One part of your stomach might be hard while the other isn't. So it can kind of vary. And so if you notice that your belly's feeling tight, and if your skin feels particularly tight, like all of a sudden you're tapping in, it's more like a drum, and then other times it's looser, that's an indication that you're starting to have some pre-labor contractions and that your body's preparing for childbirth. From the point of view of Braxton Hicks contractions, you need to know that they're good for you. They're helping your baby prepare for birth. One of the things you do want to do and take notice of is you do want to prevent going into labor prematurely. So there are a few things that are just known for triggering premature labor in women, particularly in working women that have, a lot of stress. One is getting dehydrated. The next is not getting enough protein. And so, for nutritional reasons, your baby decides that it wants to be born because it's not getting the nutrition that it needs. Or you're starting to develop toxemia or preeclampsia. And nutrition is important. Doing too much, so not slowing down. If you are not getting enough rest and if you are moving around too much, that will often stimulate Braxton Hicks contractions. So if you notice that you're having a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions, what you should do is make sure to eat, because if you haven't eaten for a while, that can actually cause them or cause them to, start going a little bit too much. The other thing is you should change activity. So you should just lie down and rest, take some time to rest, get your feet up, rest on your side, have a nap. And these actually are excellent things to do if you're concerned that you actually might be in premature labor and early labor, as opposed to just having Braxton Hicks contractions. Because with Braxton Hicks contractions, they come and go. So if you find that you're having regular contractions over a period of time, like every 10 minutes for a couple of hours, that's actually a sign that you're going into premature labor. And it's premature labor. It's a sign that you're going into labor. It's only premature if you're before 40 weeks. If you feel like you might be going into labor prematurely, and if you want to determine, if you're in labor versus just having warm-up contractions, the things to do are try eating, drink water, and notice to see if that makes a difference. Change activity, so rest if you're noticing you're having a lot of contractions and see if that stops them. Take a shower, doing deep abdominal breathing. So just really, this is something that's one of the things that's wonderful about pregnancy yoga is you really do practice this deep abdominal breathing where you're envisioning the air going all the way down deeply into your lungs and you're picturing your belly button kind of expanding off of your back. So try doing deep abdominal breathing. Do cat stretches. That's another excellent thing, just to take the pressure off your abdominal area and kind of oxygenate the area. Those are kind of changes that will often slow down Braxton Hicks contractions if you're allow you to determine whether you're in labor or just preparing for childbirth. If you notice that you are having contractions and they are regular contractions and it's early, do contact your midwife or OB because they will want to track how often you're having contractions and how intense they are, and if sleep or other things is changing anything, and they'll also want to check you to see if you're starting to dilate at all. Braxton Hicks contractions are very good at, and are something that you will experience during your third trimester and are a great sign that your body's preparing for labor.